The other big story developing at 5, the military is making moves for possible action in Iraq.
And local members of the military may very well be involved. There are reports that the Norfolk-based USS George H.W. Bush will head into the Persian Gulf. The carrier is already in the area and is preparing for whatever options the president decides to use. 10 on your side's Erin Kelly has more on what the president had to say about this escalating tension in Iraq. Erin?
Well, the president said we can't do it for them, referring to the problems Iraq has had with dealing with supremacist groups. He's weighing his options, but he says they don't include sending U.S. troops back into combat in Iraq. Nearly 4 months ago, the aircraft carrier USS George H.W. Bush pulled out of Norfolk, bound for the Persian Gulf and the Mediterranean. It was scheduled to be gone for at least 8 months with 5,000 sailors on board, but its next move is uncertain. CNN reports that according to a U.S. official, the carrier will soon move into the Persian Gulf to give President Obama options for possible airstrikes. But the official says the move doesn't mean a final decision has been made.
In the face of a terrorist offensive, Iraqi security forces have proven unable to defend a number of cities, which has allowed the terrorists to overrun a part of Iraq's territory.
President Obama talked about the growing problem in Iraq from the White House Friday. Insurgents have taken control of several cities and are headed toward Baghdad. U.S. troops left in 2011, and the president says they're not going back.
Now, Iraq needs additional support to break the momentum of extremist groups and bolster the capabilities of Iraqi security forces. We will not be sending U.S. troops back into combat in Iraq, but I have asked my national security team to prepare a range of other options that could help support Iraq security forces.
Republican Representative Scott Ridgell, a member of the House Armed Services Committee, says the U.S. and Hampton Roads have already given too much.
Well, I would be opposed to airstrikes. I think it's a further engagement in a troubled region. We've done enough, and the future of that country must be shaped by the will of the Iraqi people. We have paid a disproportionate price. Our entire region has.
And we've also received a statement from Republican Congressman Randy Forbes. He says, quote, "The crew of the USS George H.W. Bush served this country with skill and distinction, and all Americans can be proud of their Navy and its sailors. I share the concerns of many Americans that this administration's weakness continues to jeopardize our national security." And the president has said the problems in Iraq could pose a threat to the U.S. and that Iraqi leaders must set aside sectarian differences. Whatever the plan, he says it won't happen overnight. In the newsroom, Erin Kelly, 10 on your side.
A little more now on the USS George H.W. Bush. That carrier was built in Newport News and commissioned in January 2009. The Bush deployed in February. Its 5,000 sailors have been patrolling the Arabian Gulf and the Mediterranean. We'll have more on the conflict in Iraq at 5:30 and 6, as well as on Wavy.com.